Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and joining me tonight, back fresh from the trip to Philadelphia to see what was one of the most amazing nights of baseball either of us has ever experienced. The freaking Savanah Bananas and the party animals. And boy, what a party that was, Jason.
Oh yeah, that was just so much fun. Like bucket list item crossed off, and it was well worth the wait. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more later, but it was just an unbelievable experience. So, what are you drinking tonight?
I have something for later, assuming the Phils hold on to win here. Basically, for right now, I'm just going to be drinking some Gatorade. But Phils are currently up 6-0 in the seventh on the Cubbies. Magic number is 1, so a win tonight, and they have the division. So if that happens, we'll be talking, and I'll have a different drink for later.
Sounds good. To celebrate the trip to Philadelphia to see the Bananas, for my birthday this year, Shiloh got me one of Savanah Bananas special sodas, the split banana cream soda. Really awesome can art. And
Nice.
bananas are really hard flavor to work with because of how sweet it is. This is perfect, honestly. So good. And of course, had to drink it out of the special cup. All right, so rolling. Yeah, how could you not? So rolling into it, the playoff chase tonight. The Phillies will likely finish off the East tonight. The Brewers already clinched the NL Central last week, eliminating the Cubs. The Dodgers and the Padres are still, believe it or not, that's still a fight out there out west. They could conceivably swap. They are playing this week. Looking at the rest of the wild card picture, it's right now Padres, D-backs, Mets. D-backs and Mets are tied. Atlanta's 2 out. I mean, for me, Jason, it's all about the Mets series this week. And as much as you like to say, hey, you could take 2 out of 3, you'll still be okay. No, at this point, it needs to be a sweep. Pending the Diamondbacks continuing this free fall, which they've been in really hard, but it's really, as far as I'm looking at it for Atlanta, it's got to be a sweep.
Yeah, and I don't know that I would say a free fall. From my standpoint, they took 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 from the Brewers this week, which was what we needed. But they really struggled to close out a game Sunday against the Brewers. They were up 8-0 early in like the third inning and lost 10-9. But I mean, I think that the Braves need to.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Braves need to not only take 2 out of 3 or sweep the Mets. They also need the Brewers to step up later in the week when they face the Mets to end the season.
Yeah, definitely. Which I like that matchup for the Brewers because at this point, home field advantage is still alive and well at the top of the NL right now. It's not being run away with by any team yet. So, which is also good because stupidly, my family forgot to move the finals for fantasy till last week like we did. So we're still playing this week. So I really need teams to not be resting players right now so I can keep that title streak alive. But
and I think a lot of it depends on what the Brewers do early in the week here because the magic number for the Phils to clinch a first round bye is currently 3. So if this game holds, it's 6-1 currently in the top of the 7th. Strom is warming up here because it's about time to get Nola out of there. But if this game holds as it is, then that would drop down to 2.
Mm-hmm. Pat just commented in, Pat Sienkiewicz, I think the Braves need to sweep the Mets 100%. It's too late in the year for 2 out of 3 when you're 2 games back. You need to get back into control of things. You don't want to be relying on other teams to fail for you to get in. You need to try to get back into some kind of control of your own destiny again. Looking over at the American League side, Yankees, Guardians, and Astros are the top three at this point. Guardians have clinched the Central. In the wild card, the Orioles are up +4, and it's now Tigers, Royals tied. The Twins have dropped out of the wild card race, and they're now 1 game back. So they effectively lost 3 games from last week to this week in standing movement. The Mariners are still 2 games back. They still have a shot. The Red Sox are at 4 games back. The Rays are at 4 games back. I mean, and the Rays did jump up 2 games from last week because I didn't even have them on the sheet last week. I feel like at this point, Jason, Red Sox, Rays, it's probably too little too late for them. It's definitely not impossible. We've seen it happen. This is the time of the year to get hot right now, but we are in the last week of the season. To be honest, with everything the Rays sold off, the fact that they still have the opportunity to play competitive baseball into the last week of the season is quite impressive. And they are on the road all week. They're at Detroit for the first 3, although I don't think they face Scoop. No, they don't. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They face Scoobel tomorrow. So that's probably going to be the dagger to the heart for the Rays, but we'll see. And then they have 3 at Boston to end. So that series might be a big series. It might be nothing. I tend to think it's probably going to be nothing by that point. But you never know because the Tigers, they're just holding on there at the bottom of the wild card. So, if the Rays would sweep the Tigers, I mean, anything could happen. As wild as that would be.
Yeah. And and I think what you're going to see here is it's truly just teams are out of time.
Yeah.
Where we are now is just about where it's going to end up. You need to start getting sweeps at this point. So I think for the most part, what you're seeing here is what it's going to end up being. Maybe there's a change at the bottom of the AL, but those teams that are more than 2 or 3 out, better luck next year.
Yeah. And again, the fact that they made it this far, absolutely. But yeah, you're in crunch time now, and you just didn't really give yourself a lot of room to work with. Eliminated teams joining the barrel this week. The Reds, Giants, Cardinals, and Cubs in the National League were eliminated, and the Blue Jays and the Rangers were eliminated. And my just for shits and giggles, how far out are they tracker? The White Sox are now 46 games out of the wild card. But more on the White Sox later. It's so
That's amazing.
They're so bad it's comical. It's comical at this point.
I mean, their social media team's having fun with it at this point.
You have to. If you don't have some fun with it, there's what else is there to look at? Because it's just absolutely awful. All right, fantasy baseball concluded this week for Dollar Dogs and Beer. And wow, that was a tight week. Jason, tough luck, man. You led 6 out of 7 days, and Tim made one hell of a charge in the last day to take the finals 15-13. I mean, they were all close this week. There were no blowouts to be seen. And then I just narrowly squeaked past Todd 13-12. So the final standings, Tim's first, you're second, I'm third, Todd is fourth, and in the consolation bracket, Ron, like a genius, upset Joe. So Ron, despite having the worst record by a significant margin, which of course Ron's not on tonight, I had to talk about it. Ron, being 34 games out, is fifth, not sixth. So Joe has earned the first overall pick next year in the draft.
See, and I don't agree with that entirely, because if you look at, I'm saying look at the playoffs and look at the draft order for literally any sports league, and it goes by right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Ron is sixth and Joe is fifth.
I was surprised to see them in consolation because we only had it set for 4 playoff teams. I didn't know it would put the two of them into a fight for the worst at the end. So yeah, it's something.
It was truly just so that they had something to do. It was truly just so that they had something to do this week.
Yeah. I had to actually re-unlock their rosters because I locked the teams so that they couldn't try to, sway any of the top matchups by dropping players.
Yeah, because I mean, like any sports league, like it goes by your finishing order until the playoffs, and then playoffs is how you finish in the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
to me, the order should be from 6 to 1, Ron, then Joe, and then Todd, you, me, Tim.
Yeah,
But
we'll talk about
that's
it
a
in the
discussion
offseason.
for next year.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning that way too because I was not expecting them to have to play a consolation game. So I'll have to look at there might be a weird setting I missed in the offseason when I was getting it set up too. But anyway, it was a fun year. Joe fought like hell this year, man. He made 108 moves, which is more than the rest of us put together, I believe. And he in the middle of the year, he was firing on every cylinder, and then towards the end, the poor guy couldn't get a decision right to save his life. And that's just the nature of the game sometimes.
Yeah, and I have to laugh at I one of the reasons that I was really hoping to win, not just because of like it being the title for the group and like the mini trophy or whatever, but because I started out so badly the first like 3 to 4 weeks, like the first month and a half, I was in last place, and I was really looking forward to just like really rubbing it in, especially to Ron, because he was the one giving me the most crap about it. To be look who went from worst to first, while somebody from being the defending champ to last place. So, but it wasn't meant to be. Congrats to Tim. It was a hard fought battle. I'm a little frustrated that I led literally the entire week until yesterday, especially losing with a team that batted 312 for the week.
Dude, I was looking at you guys' matchup towards the end of the day yesterday. I was like, he's going to be pissed. Jason's going to be pissed.
And what I almost did, I almost sat Harper because if I sitting Harper would have frozen my batting average at, I think it was like 315, and then Tim Alonso went over, which I needed him to do, which dropped him down to like 314.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have kind of taken it to it would have taken it to 14-14, and then who knows what would have happened with that? Like,
then you got to do a lot of math to break that all the way out past the 1,000th spot. Yeah, dude.
Well, no, I'm saying it would have made it 14-14 in categories. So it'd be like, how would they have figured that out then? So I almost said Harper, but I was like, no, I need to try and I'm not going to play that game. I need to try and hope that Harper has a good game. Hope that he can get a home run for me, which would remove that other category because I was within one after the Mookie Betts walk-off. Mm-hmm. So getting a Harper homer would have tied that category, and then taking over batting average would have gotten me a 14-13 win.
Yeah.
So played for it. It just ended up not working.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Harper had a really bad week. He hit 179. I mean, he had a homer and 4 ribbies, but he struck out 12 times too.
And naturally, he has, I think, 2 hits tonight so far, or like 2 hits and a walk, 1 hit and a walk. So
of course, about right.
But
knowing your luck, that sounds very accurate.
I mean, I'm waiting for him to hit a home run tonight so I can be like, all right, yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah, thanks, asshole.
But no, it was a fun season. It was a great championship battle here. So hats off to Tim, and I look forward to trying to come back for the trophy next year. So I believe I've gone up 1 spot each time. Like or did I end in 4th last? No, I didn't end in 4th last year. I ended in 3rd last year. So
because you beat Joe in the 3rd place game.
Yeah, because I did not have the 1st overall pick last year.
No, Ron was supposed. No, Joe was supposed to have the 1st overall, but the expansion dropped Joe to 3rd.
Yeah.
And Tim went very pitching heavy this year, and it showed. Like he threw 80 innings this last week, 4-2, and obviously when you're throwing that volume, he was going to lose hits, he was going to lose earned runs, but the fact that he had that many innings, he logged 9 quality starts. Holy shit!
That hurt because he also wasn't giving up the home run ball. Like he wasn't giving up a lot of the other categories, which was what I was also. That's what was helping me throughout the week.
He gave up only 2 home runs and he had a .86 whip with that many innings pitched. That's
right. And those are categories that the last few weeks I've been watching, and like as my pitchers got to that minimum pitch requirement, innings requirement, I started backing off on who I was starting depending on the matchup, because that then led to me taking more categories because everybody else had to start their pitchers and they were giving up more hits, more runs, more homers.
Yeah.
But Tim's pitchers this week dominated, and his whole team dominated. I mean, like if my team hit 312 and I still lost a fair amount of categories in the offense. So
yeah, I mean, Vlad Jr. hit 481, Bobby Witt hit 421, Kyle Tucker hit 524, O'Neill Cruz hit 333. Like he had everybody was ticking. And
nothing I could do about that. Yeah. And I mean, it was a good battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was worthy of a championship battle.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited for next year already.
Yeah.
Maybe both of my keepers will spend more time playing than they will in the IL next year. We'll have to see.
That's going to be the tough part, is figuring out what keepers I want.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, for me, it's Acuna's I'm probably going to keep, but am I going to keep Cole? That's my biggest question, because he was fine when he was playing. He wasn't otherworldly like he's been so many times in the past. So I've got some questions. I definitely have some other pitchers. I've got Sale, I've got Burns, I've got Yamamoto. So I have plenty of options if I don't want to keep Cole as my keeper for pitchers. So yeah, a lot of questions in the offseason for all the teams. That's for sure. We'll spend more time playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move it on. So, man, let's roll it back into Philly, man. Savanah Bananas. So we got there plenty early. So the merch line, even though we were there for a while, I think just under an hour. I think we were a little under our estimate there. But it's not like it was a boring time standing out in the sun. It was a party the whole freaking time.
We were there by 4:00. So to give everybody an idea who did not get a chance to be there, to whoever's never been to a Bananas game, this was the first one for Andrew and I. We got very fortunate. A buddy of mine from high school posted on Facebook he had 3 tickets available, and I saw the post 2 days after he put it up there on Facebook. I reached out. I reached out. I said, "You don't happen to have the Bananas tickets still, do you?" And he said, "Actually, I do." And I was like, "How much?" And he said, "I'll sell them to you for face value," which was $60 a ticket. And I said, "Sold." Like I asked him. I said, "I will be able to find a third person. I will take all 3." Like, because it was also on Karen's bucket list, so she and I were the 2 guaranteed, and I know it's on your list, and you and I had talked before the lottery that basically the idea was, if either of us have an opportunity to get tickets, let's check in and see if we can get everybody to go. So we got very fortunate with that, but it was basically a whole afternoon and evening event.
It was a block party atmosphere the entire time.
Everything opened starting at 2:00, and we got there right before 4, and we were in the 45-minute long merchandise line for the parade that started at 4:30. They paraded all the players out, and they were then out there for pictures. So I mean, between that and then all the stuff leading up to the game itself taking 2 hours, and then there was stuff post game as they celebrated just having a show. It was just such an amazing night, amazing day.
They really do it better than anybody else does. They really do. Here, I'm going to throw the slideshow up quick while we talk about it some more. Let me see here. Go down to the end because I tacked a couple pictures on at the end and forgot to put them in the beginning. So, Zieg, the first baseman we got to take a picture with. He was the guy that was out there balancing stuff on his chin and smacking baseballs all over the park.
He was also the dude that would do like bat flips. He would do tricks with his bat. Like no idea how he did this stuff. Like he was flipping it and still catching it like he was still in the motion. It was just incredible.
Either. The way it was flipping and bouncing, it couldn't have been a string. And with we were right under the HD video board, the massive HD video board in left field. We would have seen a string on the video if there was a string. He just must have perfected the exact angle to hit the bat off the ground to get it right back. Just so impressive. Under the blow up banner there. All of us with the man in the man himself in the yellow suit. Oh my God, he was great. And
Jesse Cole, the tuxedo. It's a tuxedo, not just a suit.
Yeah, it's true. It's a full tux. He didn't have the bow tie on at this point. I don't blame him for that. It was hot, especially if you're in a full tuxedo at that point. The fact that like he's running a tight schedule and he's still down there dancing with the band, taking pictures, signing autographs for hundreds and hundreds of fans down there. All the credit in the world. I'd love to get him on the show sometime if he ever has an off night. Although, based on everything I've ever read and seen about him, he's rarely off. The big blow up banana inside the gates after we got in the stadium. Now I need to flip back over to the other pictures. Hold on a second because got to go back to the top. Yeah, I should definitely have set this up better. The Chick-fil-A on the way in. Let's go bananas, banana pudding, milkshake. That was great. The entire area, as that area Philly is known to do when big events come to town, everything was in on it. All the tents outside. Just the silly little stuff. Karen had a blast. And, as we know, Karen, she loves her baseball. She does not love baseball like you and I do. And I think she was just as engrossed from start to finish as we were. So I got to work today and there's the stilt guy coming through. I got to work today and my least sporty coworker, when I told her what I did this weekend, she was like, "You're kidding me. I was trying so hard to get those tickets." Like that's how amazing the experience with Savanah Bananas is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and look at how many different fan bases we saw there from MLB. We saw Phillies, Braves, Mets. We saw Pirates. Like Yankees. There were people. Orioles. Yankees. There were people in line near us who came all the way down from Connecticut for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
just awesome.
It's easily the hottest ticket in sports.
Yeah. And such a great show. The band was phenomenal. Here's the video. Sax player, man. And it's not
even some good DMB played by a band with a saxophone that was absolutely killer.
I mean, you play good sax, man, and that guy was so good, though.
Oh my God! Oh, I would have no problem like admitting that he absolutely blows me out of the water. Like the guy was just absolutely insane.
I mean, that group of guys could have been in any mummer parade, and any of the groups would have been happy to have them on. Holy crap!
Yeah,
the banana inside. Oh, you guys were so cute. And of course, because hey, I had to be in front of the banana.
Absolutely.
Just the view from the field, just watching as everybody was slowly starting to trickle out. Of course, Citizens Bank had the Phillies game on some of the TVs until it was very apparent that the Phillies did not have a chance to clinch that night, and then they quietly switched it back to the in-ballpark feed.
Yeah.
That guy out there in left center, he was just tossing football at the fans out there from way out too. The arm these guys have is truly impressive. View from the seats, we had great seats. When me and Ron went, we were just a couple rows down and a little closer to the wall. That's such a great section to be in. The party animals starting to trickle out for warm-ups. The Stilt guy was over there signing autographs. Can we just give Stilt guy some props? Because he had to have been on those damn things for over 8 hours that day. He might have had a few small breaks here and there, but holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, and he pitched and he threw strikes.
That has to be more intimidating than Randy freaking Johnson on the mound because the ball's coming up from such a high arc down at you. The ribbon boards were all set up, and I know it looks very empty. Everybody's going to be mad. Why couldn't I get seats? Because this was still 30 minutes before the game. People were still getting into their seats. That's why. Field looked immaculate. Props to the Philadelphia grounds crew for getting the field in beautiful shape for the game. The mug, of course. Video board, yeah, that's our autograph guy right there. That balancing stuff on his chin. First a regular baseball bat, he got the bigger baseball bat out.
It's a 30-pound bat.
Yeah,
30-pound solid bat that he did that.
Yeah, they handed it to a little girl, and she almost fell out of her seat because of how heavy that bat was. And then because a 30-pound bat's clearly not enough, that's a 75-pound stepladder. That yes. He was balancing on his chin. His hands were close, but they were not touching. Oh, there you go. There's one with his hands down. Holy shit. Party animals again warming up on the side. The freaking banana the banana mascot was great. Between walking around, holding up his whiteboard with random things drawn on it and written on it, to just throwing his shirt off, twerking with the umpire.
Twerking without the umpire.
Yeah, just the guy in front of us with the Dolce and Banana shirt that was trying to get his attention all night. That was great. The bell was lit up yellow for the event, which we were wondering for a little bit in the beginning because it was still too bright. And then as it got darker, like, oh, yeah, it's lit up banana yellow. And it looks so good, too.
It had to be. Like, we thought, like, I know I thought about that in the merch. I was like, I hope they have the bell lit up in yellow because they can absolutely do that. And I'm glad that they took that opportunity.
Yeah. Bananas running out in the field with the smoke machines, running the flag. That was pregame. The outfielders came in and were doing flips into the infield because, of course, they were. Give Stilt guy the flag to carry around because then you don't have to drag it across the ground. And the party animals doing their entrance from the bullpen out in center field. That was great.
Mm-hmm. Like they were truly like crashing the party was what they were doing. Like I mean, for people that aren't familiar, this is truly the best way that I think we can describe it is the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Yeah.
Like truly. It's not just a sporting event. It is an actual show. Like it is just entertaining, and like they call themselves cast members. Like they call it the cast. Like they are just performers that are incredible at baseball. Yeah,
but are also incredible at other things. Like this, when they got into the infield, it reminded me of like New Zealand rugby teams when they get together. Do the chanting and everything that they do in the very beginning.
I think it's the haka.
Yeah, the haka. That's what it's called. Thank you. Nick Franks here in the comments. Glad I wasn't the only one hoping the bell would be lit up yellow. Yeah, absolutely. Had to be. Yeah, that's what that reminded me of. It was just awesome. and all throughout the game, it's just they brought Victorino out. The crowd went nuts for the Flying Hawaiian, as they should. He struck out if I
Oh
remember,
yeah.
but it was a
No,
great moment.
he grounded out.
Ground. At least he made
Yeah.
contact, unlike
Yeah,
the golden
he
batter.
grounded out. Yeah.
But the crowd went nuts when he came out. And did you get a chance to look it up? Is he the first alumni to show up at 2 different stadiums?
I did not get a chance to look it up, but
Okay.
based off of where they've been, I would assume so.
Yeah, because he was also up there for Boston, so he wasn't high on our bingo card of players we thought we were going to be likely seeing because he had already done it. But I'm glad he was there because Victorino is just a cool guy.
And I did see, and I went back and I rewatched the live feed from YouTube after, just because I'm like, I just want to see what it was like from the video standpoint. And here, his at bat in Boston, he saw one pitch, and he hit a walk-off single. So nice. he got more than one pitch, got to experience the Philly love again. So
yeah, that was good to see.
It was so cool. That was not my favorite part of the night, though, as far as the alumni appearances go.
The party animals brought out a random mummer to pitch for them, and actually he got a strikeout.
We got to get the mummers in there, baby. Yeah. Of course. It's not Philadelphia without the mummers.
No, you're right about that. The Cowboy pitching, and then he made way because he was pitching like crap. Joe Blanton came out, and Blanton actually pitched way better than I was expecting.
He got one batter and got a ground out to second.
Yeah,
or
stopped a big
first,
inning
like that.
Because the party animals were rallying hard in that inning. The dad bod crew came out in their French maid outfits to clean the bases because they were looking a little dirty. That was one of the funniest things of the night. There you go. There's Stilt Guy pitching. Holy, the fact that he was throwing strikes from I got nothing. And then Jamie Moyer came out. Jamie, that was so freaking cool. And the fact of the matter is, his fastball could not break a pane of glass when he was pitching in the majors, and it still won't break a pane of glass today. But he also got his batter out.
Yeah, he gave up a base hit, and then got a ground out.
Yeah, didn't give up a run though, so that's what mattered.
Nope. And for those of you not familiar with the rules of Banana Ball, to give you an idea here, the Bananas outscored the party animals for the game 5-4, I believe it was.
Yeah.
However, the runs are not what count in Banana Ball. You go by the inning. So if you score more runs than the other team in an inning, you get 1 point. And at the end of 2 hours, which is usually the 9 innings, most points wins. But the 9th inning, every run is a point.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the 1 inning, the party animals didn't score, and the Bananas had a 3-run homer. So they won the inning, but instead of getting 3, they got 1.
Yep.
So
it's a neat way to play.
That was, and I know I absolutely loved the no walks thing. So for those of you who aren't familiar, instead of a walk, when it's ball 4, it becomes like a green light sprint. And the runner can take as many bases as they want and are able before every person in the field for the other team touches the ball. Mm-hmm. And once the last person touches that ball, it becomes live. And if you're not on a base, you can be tugged out.
Yep.
And what we saw was on ball 3, the outfielders would start inching in so that if it gets to ball 4, they can quickly run in and be a part of the toss around.
But that is also the risk, though, because as you're creeping in, if they get a hold of one, you're running the wrong way.
Go over the head. Yeah, and I almost equated that to when the Globetrotters, at the end of a half or at the end of the quarter or at the end of the game, they do Sweet Georgia Brown, and they just like toss the basketball around to everybody, and then the last person dunks it. It was almost that kind of a style, the way they did that.
On the home run for both teams, whenever a home run was hit, they did the red, white, and blue Liberty Bell out in center field, but they were ringing it. I'm not surprised they didn't keep it yellow. I actually kind of like that. I thought it was because that way it's the same for both teams because the party animals are always the visitors, so it evens it out a little bit. It looked cool like that, though, not going to lie. That was the walk-off. That was the walk-off inning-ending 3-run homer that they hit. And it was like a little league pile up around home plate when he got there. It was freaking awesome. Earlier in the game, I didn't get a picture of it. The Party Animals ran the tush push, and then later the Bananas decided to run the Philly special. Absolutely great. And of course, the quarterback was the pitcher, and he caught it, got to the mound, and chucked it to home plate for the pitch. Just the theatrics.
It was a pretty terrible pitch. It bounced and got away to the point that the catcher had to go grab it quickly because in banana ball you can steal first base.
Yeah.
But something that we couldn't see from our angle, I missed that at one point right-handed batter got into the box and the catcher went to the other side, so he was not anywhere near the plate. So the batter turned around to go left-handed, and the ump slid all the way over, and basically they had a pitch that was just nowhere near the plate.
Yeah.
So
everybody sings yellow. I completely forgot I was taking videos, so my apologies for the seasick.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that was really cool.
You're gonna give me vertigo with that. Holy hell.
Yeah. Golden batter, man. Here he comes.
For the Phillies fans, before you do the golden batter stuff, for Phillies fans, earlier in the game, they after the 3-run homer, they turned the lights out and we got Dancing on My Own, a performance from the Bananas with the lights off and everything, which was it got the crowd going pretty good because while there were more than just Phillies fans there, you can tell that it was a bulk Phillies fans.
Yeah. Well, in either way, it's still a cool thing.
But it was still so cool. All right, let's golden batter. This was my favorite reveal of the night, and it was one that I called.
Yes, you
did a week or two ago.
So the golden batter, none other, Mr. Philly, Ryan Howard himself. The golden batter rule basically means that at any point, at any inning of the game, you can bring the best hitter out to face the pitcher at the time. And of course, predictably, Ryan Howard struck out on 3 pitches, swinging.
Yeah, and they were all fastballs. The first one was out of the zone. The other 2 he just flat out missed. Yeah. But it's one where I have a feeling that if I played for so long, retired, and then came back after how many years away to swing a bat, probably wouldn't be making contact either.
No, definitely not. He got a really nice standing O from the crowd afterwards, though, even though he struck out. And then was this the end? Yeah, this was the end when the Party Animals won it. Charging the mound, dancing on the field. Really nice thank you then also from them that they threw up on all the video boards. Everybody got back out. Sing another couple songs. What an experience that was. Pat, I've been hearing that all day.
Same.
I can't begin to tell you how jealous I am. For everybody who couldn't go, I will be shocked if the Bananas don't come back to Philly next year for their world tour again. Yeah. That was the crowd in Banana history, 45,000.
Exactly. And they in the live feed, they also said, we talked to Philadelphia and we found that the ballpark typically holds 43,000 fans. And they said, we could probably figure out some standing room options for you, and got them up to the 45,000. Yeah. So it was beyond a sellout. And actually, they said that the most the Phillies had this season so far in a game was around 44,000 and some. So it was not only the biggest crowd for the Bananas this season, it was the biggest crowd at the bank for the season until the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Citizens Bank, they pack them in there. You know the picture of the Japanese the subways where you see the shovers shoving as many people in. That's that's more like Citizens Bank in the playoffs, but yeah, that's I'm trying to see here record. The highest record all time was the Winter Classic in 2012 back in January. That was 46,967. So the Bananas were not that far off of one of the all-time records for Citizens Bank Park, which that's just so freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Pat said, I had a chance to see the other two teams around me, but not the Bananas. Yeah, I hope you get the chance to at some point. And like I said, I think they're going to have a bigger world tour next year. And, hopefully it's going to open up more opportunities for more people to win the tickets through the lottery, because it's such a great opportunity and you will not be disappointed. They started with a trick play on a ground ball. Second out of the game was a backflip catch in the outfield. Third play was another trick. Like, once we saw that, we knew we were going to be in for a great night.
Yeah.
And what's great is, but they're making amazing baseball plays and adding flair to them. The talent these guys have is unbelievable.
Yeah. Like we saw just the skill level that they have. I mean, there was a full out extension of a dive in the outfield for a catch that any major league game, that's a double to the wall, at least a double to the wall. But he was he was parallel with the ground.
Yeah,
as he was making that catch.
Like, there's probably only 3 or 4 center fielders in the game today that had a chance to make that catch.
Yeah,
like that's truly the difficulty of making that catch.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they also keep track of trick plays for each team, and they even count, like, if you just throw it under your legs or if you catch it between your legs, it counts. Outfield, you can like hit the ball up with your glove and then catch it, and they count that. But the Bananas turned 14 trick plays to the Party Animals 4. The Party Animals tried for a few more, and they just didn't complete them.
Yeah, they had quite a few errors on trick plays, so it just didn't work out for him. Yeah, what an experience! I can't wait to go to another game and bring the wife and kids too. Yeah. All right. And then, unfortunately, not all good things happened this weekend. The Barnstormers were eliminated by York, the team that they just could not beat all season long. So, Lancaster fans, unfortunately, the three-peat's not going to happen this year. We're just going to have to win another title next year and start the streak over again.
Yep, absolutely.
I know for Down on the Farm, not much this week. You said we're in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, so there isn't anything to post on Down the Farm this week. As playoffs wind down and wrap up in the minor leagues, I'll share some results there. But for right now, there's nothing going on.
All right. And then the White Sox, they did it. They tried their hardest to avoid it. They had a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th on Sunday, but they ended up losing and tied the 62 Mets, which, let's remember, that was the Mets expansion year with loss number 120. That is ties the post-1900 record. I feel for Sean Burke, the rookie right-hander making his second start. He pitched 6 great innings of shutout baseball. The White Sox managed to hit 2 solo shots off Yu Darvish. And, something that I realized after the game, many of these White Sox losses, they haven't been blowouts. We've blown it late. And that's just a morale killer for you right there. They've got 6 games remaining. One more loss will give them the modern day record outright. We know that's going to happen. There's no way in hell the White Sox go on a 6-game winning streak to avoid that. They've got 3 at home against the Angels and then 3 at Detroit. And again, Detroit's still playing meaningful ball, so it's not like Detroit's going to be sending out the scrubs at that point. Jason, they lost. That was their 20th straight road series they lost, and that was the 24th time this year they've been swept. That's
incredible.
Truly horrific baseball out of the White Sox this year.
Wow.
And yet the Cubs might be more disappointing, but we'll let Joe rant on that when he comes back after the season, because I'm sure he's going to want to get some stuff off his chest. The Reds fired manager David Bell after 6 seasons and 5 games to go this year. They missed the playoffs for the 10th straight full season. Let's remember they did make the wild card during 2020 before they got swept by Atlanta. He received a 3-year extension just last July when they surged into playoff contention after a 100-loss season. And so instead of pushing for the playoffs, they're going to end in fourth place, 76 and 81 right now, thanks to injuries and underperformance. President of Baseball Operations Nick Kroll said, David provided the kind of steadiness that we needed in our clubhouse over the last few seasons. We felt a change was needed to move the major league team forward. We have not achieved the success we expected, and we need to begin focusing on 2025. Looking at the players, Ellie De La Cruz and Hunter Green matched or exceeded preseason expectations. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz is one of the best players in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a ton of regression in injuries. Matt McClain missed the entire year with injuries. Noel V. Marte was suspended for PED use. Christian Encarnacion Strand, he played 29 games. At one point, 4 out of the 5 pitchers in the rotation, including Green, were on the IL. Bench coach Freddie Benavides will be the interim manager. Some considerations for replacement. Skip Schumacher is expected to leave the Marlins. He'll be up there. David Ross, Eduardo Perez. Do you think that this is the lack of success? Is this David Bell's fault, or or are you kind of where I'm at? And the front office took a team that was in the playoffs, on the cusp of the playoffs, and then said, "Screw it, sell it off," and then didn't make enough to improve the team this offseason, and yet it's somehow the manager's fault when he was just dealing the hand he was dealt by the team.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where when you make a change, who's the first person that usually goes? It's the manager. I don't think this is anything that David Bell did. Like he did what he was dealt. Excuse me, he did what he was dealt with, and I mean, if you did not think that he was going to be the one for you in the future, why did you sign him to a 3-year extension last season? At the end, like that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those. Yeah, it's not on Bell; it's on the management overall for not giving him the team to be successful.
Ron, don't worry, we're keeping an eye on it. 3 more outs.
Trust me, Ron. The iPad is going on over here. I have the game up; it's on mute. I'm saying it in our private chat that we have 3 more outs for the Phils. So.
Do you agree with firing David Bell at this point, or do you think they should have at least given him 1 year to try with a team that's hopefully not hurt all year? Or do you think this was the time?
I would have given him at least part of the next season.
Yeah. I just felt like it was too soon after just extending him last year. Like that's insane to go that quickly in turn, I think. Just what I thought, though. Yeah. Looking ahead at some of the awards, the MVP looks like it's going to be wrapped up by Ohtani. He went 50-50 in a ridiculous game. What was it? 6 for 6, 10 RBIs, 2 home runs, something like that. Ron said for David Bell, maybe give him to the All-Star break. Yeah, especially after an extension, you don't dump the guy the next year unless it's gross misconduct, which it wasn't.
Yeah, there's one out,
1 down. So he's Ohtani's DH only. Is he truly the most valuable player for his team? Bob Nightingale actually asked this question of whether this year's season is better than Acuna's MVP last year when he played all but 2 games in right and produced 337, 41 homers, 73 stealing bases, 149 runs, which led the NL, 217 hits led the NL, 416 OBP, 102 OPS, 383 total bases, and 8.2 WAR. Also, let's not forget, Acuna plays great defense in right field, and he's got a cannon for an arm. Ohtani has just been a batter. I'm going to roll it back because I know Joe is like, of course you're going to bring up Acuna. All right, I'm going to bring up Bryce Harper's first MVP season back in 2015. 172 hits, 42 home runs, which also led the NL that year. 99 ribbies, 118 runs, which led the NL. 334, 60, 649, 109. All those led MLB except average, and 9.7 WAR. And as much as I thought Ozuna should have been strong consideration for the MVP as well, with the whole idea of valuable to your team, it is very hard to say that a DH only player should be MVP. I just, honestly, the way Francisco Lindor has been carrying the Mets this entire month, I really think he's getting a lot more credit than he is getting based on the current odds.
My order, I would probably have gone Lindor, followed by Otani, and then Ozuna.
Mm-hmm.
For
I'm not trying to
Ozuna,
take away Otani's season. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but it's real hard. It's like when a reliever wins Cy Young. A reliever shouldn't win Cy Young unless there were no good starters that year and the reliever set some freaking records or something.
catch the ball, Brandon. Fly ball to deep left center field. He's up against the wall, and it just goes in and out of the glove before he's even at the wall.
Frustrating. That's frustrating.
That's a very, very clear error that should not happen.
And of course, because it's the Phillies and not banana ball, you can't count on foul balls to bail you out. We did see 3 of those, by the way. 2 against the Party Animals, 1 against the Bananas.
Yeah.
The AL MVP, Judge and Witt, that was a fun battle to watch. Judge is going to take that one, but it's like I said in the beginning of the month, we're likely going to see 10 more guys, and one guy's not going to get it because the other guy had more WAR. In the Cy Young, Sale and Wheeler, it's been a great race. After Wheeler's start yesterday, Sale still holds the NL Triple Crown. It's the first time that's happened since Kershaw. I think it was 12 or 11. Can't remember exactly which year it was. Sale's run this year has been insane. Is it official?
2 outs. Just struck out. Just got a strikeout here. So 2 outs, runner on second.
It's Tauchman. You'll be fine. Congratulations.
Gonna be wrapping up the division here tonight. But
Sale's run.
Yeah, I think Sale gets one more start, right?
Yeah. He's starting, I think, in the Mets series somewhere.
Okay. So if he does what he has been doing, or even if he gives up a couple runs, Triple Crown is his. If he gets lit up, that's when I think you might see it switch over to Wheeler, because Wheeler was also flat out dominant. To end the season. So
honestly, 1A, 1B this year, without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's possible. I think Wheeler probably gets one start this week. So
yeah. The question will be,
there's that as well.
Yeah, Wheeler might not go deep in his start.
Depends on where they stand overall.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised if everything's locked up. He might say, "Go throw like 3 innings, and then we're going to pull you out and get you ready for the playoffs." Sale's run, dude. 2 earned runs or less in each of his last 17 starts, dating to June 7th. Tied for the longest single season streak, along with Hall of Famer Walter Johnson and Felix Hernandez. Wow. In the AL, Tariq Skubal is gonna. I think he's gonna take it. I'll be shocked if he loses it. He is holding the Triple Crown as well, so I think if he holds on to that, it's his to lose. Did I miss any milestones this past? I'm going to be honest, I was not watching for those. Didn't Schwarber have one?
We did have Schwarber did have one. I forget what it was though. It was 900th hit, I think.
Yeah, something like
900th hit, which was another leadoff home run.
Man, Tauchman is not giving this up. That's 8 foul balls. Holy crap!
I know.
You said you had a question you wanted to throw at me from Joe quick.
Yeah. So Joe said, the Cubs are out of playoff contention. He wants a team to root for. So he said, pick a team and make a case for them. I'll let you go first because I'm a little distracted over here at the moment.
Tauchman walked, by the way, in case you missed that 9-pitch walk.
Okay, so that's not here yet. So you're either going to need to not tell me anything, or I'm going to have to leave.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
You laugh, but I'm serious. I don't want to find out from you. I want to find out from this.
No, that's fine. I didn't. I'm just watching the feed. I'm not even watching the video. I'm just watching the player feed thing on MLB.com.
Okay, yeah, because he still hasn't walked yet here. So to give you an idea, he just now walked.
Yeah. I'm 2 pitches in the next at bat. I'll stop looking at it. All right. Yeah. So Joe, you need a team to root for. Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to go with the Orioles. I think you should root for the Orioles. One, they're semi-local. Two, well, I know you don't like Corbin Burns, but you always hit him pretty well, so that should be okay. The Orioles are such a scrappy team. They've got such wonderful young talent to watch. There's so much to love about this team this year, and the fact that they have been as wrecked with injuries in their pitching staff and are still managing to play as well as they have been. Granted, they have been kind of skidding a little bit lately. So the Royals really badly. But give the Orioles some love, man. Plus, hey, if on the off chance the Orioles get lucky enough to run to the World Series and you feel like saying, hey, my adopted team's in the World Series, I want to get tickets. I mean, you don't have to go nearly as far as you would have had to go for some of the other teams that are in the playoffs at this point. So go for the Orioles. Plus, if I remember right, Joe, at one point you had a ton of Orioles on your fantasy roster. So clearly you're partially a closet Orioles fan as it is. Just fully embrace the orange and black, hop on the Orioles bandwagon and join them. They're eagerly waiting for you, man. And I'm just going to say, and Jason says go for the Phillies. Jason says go for the Phillies because it's the Phillies.
Well, I was going to say go for the Phillies, but I also kind of wanted to think through some things and just kind of give a non-homer pick here. And I'm going to go with Cleveland. If you don't go for Philly, I would say go with Cleveland between their staff and everything else here. Oh, there's a fly ball. Fly ball to Nick. And there's the division, baby.
Congratulations. The streak ends at 6.
All right. Streak ends at 6. And I got this a while ago, Andrew. I did not open it up because this was when the Phils were having their great first half of the season. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep this in case they win the division. So I have a special edition.
Oh, the Maker's Mark.
Yeah. Maker's Mark with the blue wax. So
which is odd because I got a red team, but okay.
so gotta pop this here. There we go. Got a little bit here. So in a nice Sazerac house glass here from our trip down to New Orleans. So
Sazerac that you put Maker's Mark in their glass.
So sir, your Braves had a good 6-year run.
They'll be back next year.
Phils NL East Division champs this year, baby.
Well done, man.
Let's go.
Yeah. So back in the playoff, back with the division. So the Phillies are now working on home field, and that's going to be really between them and the Dodgers. Although, like I said, you can't rule the Brewers out. There is still a shot if the Brewers win all week that they could potentially slip in and maybe I don't know what the tiebreakers are between the Brewers, the Phillies, and the Dodgers. So it's
the Phillies own all.
Yeah, but what about the Brewers and the Dodgers? Do you know that one?
That I'm not sure of. I know the Phils own it over both the Brewers and the Dodgers. So the magic number for the Phils to clinch a first round bye is down to 2.
Milwaukee, LAD. No, the Dodgers hold the tiebreaker over the Brewers as well. So the Brewers pretty much have to go perfect this week. If they stumble at any point, it's going to be, hey, you're going to be playing in the first round. And truthfully, I think they might just start shutting guys down just to get them ready for the playoff run. It would not surprise me. So,
yeah.
All right, so that's it. It's the last week of baseball. It's going to be an exciting week. I'm very happy I don't have a physical this week because I'm sure my blood pressure is going to be all over the place watching the Braves and the Mets. Because it sucks to be on the outside looking in. And whoever's playing the Diamondbacks this week, please beat them into a bloody pulp, just so I have a little bit of backup. Won't be upset if that happens. But yeah, that starts tomorrow night. Atlanta and the Mets are resting tonight to get ready for what is going to be a big showdown. The matchups this week, I believe everything is set up for nice high stakes baseball. Yeah. Schwalbach Severino tomorrow night, Sale Peterson on Wednesday, and Fried Manea on Thursday. So good pitchers going for both teams. So we're going to see what it's going to be. Okay. Jim just popped on here for you, Jason. Hard to believe it's the first time in 13 years the Phillies have won the. It's been 13 years. What?
First time since 2011.
Jesus,
I mean, when you have to go through 2014 through 2018, and
that's true. The middle of the 2010s were awful for
Philadelphia. They were brutal. Well, after the 2011 season, they dropped all the way down to 500 on the nose, and then that was the end of all of that group of guys.
Yeah,
because they were starting to get up there in age and had to go through the Cody Ashe, Aaron Altair years.
Oh God, yeah, those were
so. I do feel
it made me enjoy
what makes this one a little tough is knowing
just bad.
Yeah, what makes this one tough is knowing that Reese isn't there to celebrate a division title.
Yeah.
But this team has played lights out for just about the whole season. They struggled leading into and out of the All-Star break.
And August wasn't always great, but we knew August was going to be tough too. A lot of games against good teams.
Yeah, and they got through their gauntlets. Yeah, division champs, baby. Now let's get the bye. Would love home field advantage. I just don't want to face the Diamondbacks right away because that team, like, not even just from like the history standpoint, that team is on fire right now. They're getting healthy. They are playing much better right now. They are going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. But I also did forget
heating back up at the right time.
I also forgot, like, I want to get back to Joe's thing here because I just kind of was like, Cleveland Guardians. Oh, and look, there's the Phillies way in the division. But this Cleveland Guardians team, I think, has some good potential. They have arguably the best closer in the game right now in Clase. Yeah. They have great offense. Jose Ramirez has had a good year. The Naylor boys have had a good year. They are sneaky good. They're just not getting the hype that teams like the Yankees, the Astros, like what they're getting. So, Joe, if you want a team that's not Philadelphia, I would say Cleveland. But I gotta go around. If you want to go for the Phils, I welcome you with open arms. That they say pitching wins championships. The Phils have arguably the best four to go in the playoffs. The starting rotation is going to be solid. The back end of the bullpen is great between Strom, Hoffman, Esteves, Alvarado, who has been finding it since coming back, Kirkering even. So this team has the pitching to get it done. They have the bats. The bats just have to produce. So, yeah, I would say Cleveland or Philly, Joe. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, I mean, since the Phillies last won, the Nationals had 4 titles. Atlanta had, 6, I think, and the Mets had 1 in between. Yeah, that's right, 2015 when they lost the World Series to the Royals, what was, once again, phenomenal pitching. But the Mets were the Mets. What can I say? They're the only team in the National League East to have not won a World Series in the current millennia. Sorry, man. Mets got to get on and fix that. Although even if they make it this year, I just don't feel like this Mets team's built to go deep. So, but we'll see. Who knows? If you get in, anything can happen. And hopefully Atlanta knocks the Mets out and gets in. All right, so that's it for us. We will see you probably next week. We'll probably do a regular season wrap before the start of playoffs, and then we might do what we did last year, go after the wild card, the division round. We'll just see how the scheduling works out, because that's more what it runs into for us anyway. So, guys, recordings available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you find them. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. Merchandise is at redbubble.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/dollardogsandbeer. Twitter's at DDAB_podcast. I'm at PyroLord314. Jason's at JRicker300. Joe's at JoltonJoe35. Ron is at Dipner Ron. We're presented by Dark Arrow Podcast LLC and sponsored by the amazing Baron Barbershop over in Mannheim. Guys, may your dogs always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. For the teams in, welcome to the playoffs. For the teams fighting in, good luck. And for the teams eliminated, well, see you next year.